The Nixon Presidential Library and Museum presents a selection from the White House tapes, Conversation 886-8, which took place on March 21st, 1973.
The reason I thought we ought to talk this morning is because in our conversations, I have the impression that you don't know everything I know, and it makes it very difficult for you to make judgments that only you can make on some of these things. And I thought that
you guys, in other words, I've got to know why you feel something.
Well,
that we should unravel something.
Let me give you my overall first.
Your judgment as to where it stands and where we would go.
I think that there's no doubt about the seriousness of the problem we've got. We have a cancer close to the presidency that's growing. It's growing daily. It's compounding. It grows geometrically now because it compounds itself. That'll be clear as I explain, some of the details of why it is. And it basically is because, one, we're being blackmailed. Two, people are going to start perjuring themselves very quickly that have not had to perjure themselves to protect other people and the like. And that is and there's no assurance that won't bust. So let me give you the sort of basic facts, talking first about the Watergate, and then about Segretti, and about some of the peripheral items that have come up. First of all, on the Watergate, how did it all start? Where did it start? It started with an instruction to me from Bob Haldeman to see if we couldn't set up a perfectly legitimate campaign intelligence operation over at the re-election committee. Not being in this business, I turned to somebody who had been in this business, Jack Caulfield, who was, I don't know if you remember Jack or not, he was your original bodyguard before they had candidate protection, an old New York City policeman. Jack had worked for John and then was transferred to my office. And I said, Jack, come up with a plan that, the normal infiltration and, buy information from secretaries and all that sort of thing. He did. He put together a plan, was kicked around, and I went to Ehrlichman with it, I went to Mitchell with it, and the consensus was that Caulfield wasn't the man to do this. In retrospect, that might have been a bad call, because he is an incredibly cautious person and wouldn't have put the situation to where it is today. Right after rejecting that, they said, we still need something. So I was told to look around for somebody that could go over to 1701 and do this. And that's when I came up with Gordon Liddy, who they needed a lawyer. Gordon had an intelligence background from his FBI service. I was aware of the fact that he had done some extremely sensitive things for the White House while he'd been at the White House, and he'd apparently done them well. Going out into Ellsberg's doctor's office and things like this. He'd worked with leaks. He, tracked these things down. And so the report that I got from Krogh was that he was a hell of a good man, and not only that, a good lawyer, and could set up a proper operation. So we talked to Liddy. Liddy was interested in doing it. Took Liddy over to meet Mitchell. Mitchell thought highly of him because apparently Mitchell was partially involved in his coming to the White House to work for Krogh. Liddy had been at Treasury before that. Then Liddy was told to put together his plan, how he would run an intelligence operation. And this was after he was hired over there at the committee. Magruder called me in January and said, I'd like to have you come over and see Liddy's plan for 72. January of 72. Like, you come over to Mitchell's office and sit in on a meeting where Liddy's going to lay his plan out. I said, well, I don't really know if I'm the man, but if you want me there, I'll be happy to. So I came over, and Liddy laid out $1 million plan that was the most incredible thing I have ever laid my eyes on, all in codes and involved black bag operations, kidnapping, providing prostitutes, to weaken the opposition, bugging, mugging teams. It was just an incredible thing.
For more information, please visit www.nixonlibrary.gov.